Yeah, before I talk about the game, just you know, from our Liberty family, Liberty football family, and administration and staff to the UVA family and staff and players, I just their entire campus can't imagine, what they're feeling, going through this morning. That's nothing that coach and administrators are really prepared for, or teammates, and just man, they're in our prayers, and we stand with them to in any way help get through this very difficult time, and specifically praying for Coach Elliott as he leads through that, because that's got to be very, very challenging for him to do. So from our Liberty family to theirs, you're in our prayers. So our game Saturday, man, it's hard to win college football games. I say it all the time. We've been fortunate this year to win most of our shares of those toss-up games that come down to one possession here, one possession there. And we did not get that done this week. Give credit to UConn, Coach Mora. They've done a really nice job there. The kids are playing extremely hungry and well, and outplayed us, outcoached us on Saturday, and that's just difficult for me to say and accept, but it is. The film doesn't lie, and we just had too many critical downs where we did not execute. I did not. I had two calls that I wish I had over. And then the other calls that were good calls, offensively and defensively, we just seemed to struggle to execute. Obviously, the Arkansas and BYU game took its toll on us in some ways. And being shorthanded at tailback really hurt. TJ, I thought, ran well, but didn't have any gas in the fourth quarter to get first downs where first downs were available there, and put us in some tough spots on some third and shorts, fourth and shorts. But linebacker wise, we were really thin. Lost Mike, obviously didn't play, and then Quentin Reese gets hurt in pregame, and then obviously the ejection of Ahmad for targeting. And Tyron has played really well for us this year, but he's really our third down guy, and he's not a box fitter. And we struggled. We struggled to fit the run, to stop the run. And then when we did, we gave two critical third down penalties that gave them extended drives that they scored on. And then add to that the fact that offensively we gave them a score on a turnover, which is crippling. We just didn't. There was a lot of positives too, but we ran for 267 yards, and we're balanced and 5 for 5 in the red zone. But our tempo was good. But man, we had 5 penalties, and we're 1 for 3 in those critical downs, and that really just kind of is the ball game. If you could sum it up, it's you could take 5 or 6 plays and just say, this is, whether it's a long run where we missed 18 tackles. As poor as we tackled poorly Arkansas the fourth quarter, and then in this entire game. And so it's disappointing, but you've got to put it in the trash today and get ready for a big in-state game against another Power 5 opponent who I know will be very hungry to come in and defend being the Power 5 team in the state. And I think they're playing at a real high level. I know what their record is, but I think they're playing at a real high level on defense, only giving up about 350 yards a game, and a lot of multiple looks, a lot of multiple pressures. I think that, and they have 2 defensive ends that really get after the passer, and I think their secondary is really good. I think it's one of the better defenses we faced, and between Coach Pride and Coach Marv, they're doing a really nice job on that side. Offensively, they struggle some, even though I'm impressed with their quarterback. And I think that they have a lot of +1 runs that you got to get prepared for. They run counter every kind of way you can imagine. Tight ends are a threat. They break the formation in 12 and make you have to defend the 10 pitchers. And then, have some bigger guys to really go 12 personnel runs. Offensive line's really big and well coached. Number 80 is a really talented receiver. So running backs are good. He to be a 180-pound guy, 23 runs bigger than that. Kind of reminds me of Day some. So they're obviously the record. People look at that and say what they want, but I know that we've got our hands full, and I think our team will respond after the disappointing loss. But we better because you're playing a Power 5 team that has a Power 5 roster, and their games have been very close for the most part. It could have gone either way on these one or two possessions, and so it'll be fun. I know we need our crowd there. We've been undefeated at home this year. We'd like to keep that streak up, and so we need all 25,000 people here, and make it very difficult for them to play in and give us a little extra juice at this point in the season. So excited to see our students stay around, and obviously our normal fans to come, and let's make it a very exciting place this Saturday at noon.
Coach, go back to Saturday, the struggles on defense. Would you attribute that mostly just to the personnel?
Well, we didn't have any new calls. We ran, the same defense we've been running most of the years. Now, they were smart, and they stayed in those heavy jumbo sets for the most part, extra tackles, extra tight ends, which creates an extra gap. That takes a kill out of the linebacker run fit, because now he has to get attached on the line. Is the way we've played all year, which we're asking other linebackers to play a lot. And between them and the safeties, we did not tackle well at all. And whether that's I think our scheme is good. It's proven to be good throughout the year, but we've got to make plays, and we just didn't. Whether it's a fact of us not being locked in totally, or just physically didn't make them, it's probably some of both. But they had a good plan for us for the situation we were in right now.
I want to go back to this weekend's game and the importance of having an in-state Power 5 team come here. And from your time in Group of 5, how rare that is. How significant is that?
I think it's very significant, and I think it's becoming quickly obsolete. It appears in a lot of ways. So congratulations to Ian and Mickey and those guys. That I'm not sure exactly how it came about. I don't know if it was a 2-for-1 or something like that, but I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think it's good for our town, our city, our fans, our university, to have that type of excitement. And so kudos to Ian and those guys for being able to pull it off.
And getting, piggybacking off that, again, Virginia Tech to come in here, home game. Is this a game maybe that you would circle as you're planning out like your recruiting calendar for the week or this season to try to get a lot of guys here? Are you expecting a lot of guys here this weekend?
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of guys. I think we've got a few officials. We have staff here in a minute we had staff earlier, but we have a full staff right after this, and I'll get caught up on exactly who all is expected to be here. But I would think it'd be a really good recruiting weekend. I know we have a few official visits, and obviously you use every win in recruiting, but should we be on some Virginia kids, you'd probably use a win against Virginia Tech. It certainly is good ammo to have if you can pull it off. So they're all big for recruiting, but this one obviously could mean something more to a certain clientele.
You mentioned 2 calls that you wish you had back. What were those 2?
The 2nd and 1, I should not have. Kent and I should have either made sure JB understood what that scenario requires, or me just handle it with the call where he knows he don't have the option to throw it at that point in the game. And in the 4th down call, wish I could redo that. for sure those two calls.
Just the play call or the decision itself?
The decision itself, and the play call. If I'm gonna go for it, for our personnel, I think it was the right call, but for our personnel right then, it probably is not the right call.
You touched on TJ having a solid game, but kind of losing steam there in the fourth quarter. Moving forward, without Day, you got him and Shadro. I mean,
Yeah.
What he did the first 3 or so quarters, does that give you some positive?
Really pleased. I mean, he doesn't have the elusiveness of Day, or the breakaway speed, but I mean, he ran for 100 yards and ran really solid until, he played 58 plays, and that's too many. You get Shadro back where they split those 80 plays that we had. I think that's, hopefully those two can stay healthy, and then some short yardage stuff for Malik. And I think, that's going to be very helpful to us to have Shadro back where they can split those and don't have to be gassed like he was. And maybe if he had played all year, he wouldn't have been. But, man, there's no way you can simulate 58 plays in a game, for a guy that's been injured and getting half the reps in practice. It's just, even though Dom's been giving him extra conditioning, you can't replicate the emotion and the adrenaline and everything that's flowing, and he just had really nothing left in his tank there at the end.
Some of that, the way that you used Demario Douglas in the run game and in the pass game, and some of the passes that were essentially extensions of the run, do you like using him that way regardless of your depth at running back?
Well, I like getting him the ball in his hands any way I can. So if we think we have a run that they might give us with him without adding too many people in the fit, we're more than happy to carry it and try it. So, we're always looking for ways to get him the ball, for sure.
Is Ahmad going to be out for the first half against Virginia Tech?
He is.
Okay. After you saw it, did that look like a textbook targeting?
It looked like it's targeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't surprised at all that it was called.
Quentin and Mike this week, are they just day-to-day?
Day-to-day. Hopefully, Mike said he felt better today. Quentin, I just saw him as I was walking over here. He'll try hard to get there. His is an AC joint that he sprained in warm-ups. And so be helpful to have both of them back for sure.
Is that a fluke thing with Quentin?
Yeah, they were doing just some warm-up drills and just a fluke thing.
Go back to the quarterback situation this past week. Was it just kind of a down and distance type thing with a feel thing with when to rotate Salter in and just kind of your thoughts?
No, it wasn't. We had a good package that I really liked, but he didn't respond well at all, and that's disappointing. And his first throw, we got a wide open in cut, and he bounces it to him, and then down the goal line, he forgets to motion the guy, which the play's no good without the motion, and obviously the sack calls fumble, where you give them 7, and then just didn't feel confident after that. And I'll say this, JB did some really good things, but missed a lot of opportunities. And there at the end, even on the 4th down play, he's got Demario. He just got to throw it on time. And on the 3rd down play, he hung on the covered side way too long when he's got people open on the back side. Didn't have to leave the pocket, just give it to them. And we wouldn't have got the first, but it put it to 4th and, in my opinion, 4th and less than 5, which is a whole different deal than 4th and 13. And I missed a few throws early on down the goal line. We have Demario isolated one-on-one. He runs right by the guy. We overthrow it. So, all of those plays factor into to us not having success on Saturday. And so the quarterback, it's be interesting to see how they respond this week. We're looking for somebody to give us a spark and be consistent and with the game plan, and even in practice be consistent. I'll say we weren't real consistent in practice last week, and that's what I told our coaches this morning. It's until we have that feeling, we're probably not going to be real consistent on Saturdays. And so Kent and we got a good work job ahead of us this week to get one show us that you're ready to be consistent on Saturday.
Charlie health-wise is good at this point.
I didn't think he could throw it last week well enough, and it was too many turnovers in practice. I hate it for him, man, and the way his season's gone. Hopefully this week's different, and it shows up differently.
You know, Tech's on a, I think, 7-game losing streak, but in those games, what do you see on film that makes you say, man, these guys are on the cusp of turning it around?
Just look at, I mean, the scores are all relatively close, and I just think they're playing good enough defense against, particularly, for a group of 5 team to play a Power 5, it's not easy. We're obviously not as healthy as I'd like for us to be, and I think they're playing really good defense. Hopefully we can stop them and we can get back to playing the kind of defense we've played all year, and where we don't feel like we have to score every possession, because I don't think we're that type of team this year that needs to have that type of pressure put on every single possession. And hopefully we'll play solid defense and stop them some. Defensively, though, I mean, only giving up 350 yards against all those schedules, so it's a pretty good defense.
Anything else for anybody? Anybody online got any questions for Coach? All right, Coach.